Hi everyone, I'm Marieanne, the Artsie Crafter. Welcome to my channel. When I was thinking about doing this page, this is the Spring into March journal. It's almost at the end of it, and this is about one of the last pages I wanted to work on. And when I was thinking about working on this page, I wanted to use up all my scraps, all these long scraps that you get when you're decorating pages and whatnot. I had a ton of them, but I could only find this many. So I think my stash must be still up in the house, in my old craft room. If you've watched my channel before, you'll know that I've moved, a few months ago, I moved into a new craft room. I have a craft cabin down the back of our yard. I moved most of my stuff down here, but obviously I've left some stuff back up in the house. I still haven't quite moved everything in as yet, after about 3 months, I think. I can't remember now, 2 or 3 months. Anyway, this is all I came up with, so I decided it's pouring rain out there. I didn't really want to go back up to the house, so I've changed my mind. I'm still going to do strips, and to start with, this is going to be a side pocket, and I quite like this torn piece of paper here, and I think that's really rustic, and I love that. And I want to put a vintage piece against it. I think that works really well. So that will be on the side pocket here. So all I have to do is cover all this, but I'm not going to just tear out strips and glue to the page. No, that's a bit too boring, isn't it? So you can see here I've gessoed this page because I want to use this as journaling space, and this. So this papers here I've gathered together, and I've put them in a what I think is a pleasing sequence, and I've generally sort of broken it up with the light and dark here so that it breaks up some of that color and spreads it out. So this is that panel there, and then I have to cover this panel here, so that's under there. So this will be the first piece, and then these are all be staggered across there. So that's not the end of it. I'm going to use these threads, and I don't know how this is going to work out. It's going to take a little time, but I do enjoy doing some hand sewing, and I'm just going to do a rough running stitch, rustic, around the torn edges of the panels, just for something different. And then down the bottom, I'll stagger these panels. They'll be glued onto the page, but they won't be all the same length, and they'll only be glued at the top. And then I'm going to do something strange. I'm going to put these metal elements on the ends of each of these different strips, and I'm hoping it will look pretty cool. And to help me attach these, I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to go. I'll either use the thread down the bottom and I can loop them through, or I will use these eyelets and punch an eyelet at the end of each one. And then I've got some of these, what do you call these things? And they're falling all over the place. These are split rings, so I might thread them through the eyelets and then attach those metal pieces. These ones here, I'm thinking of actually having them on one of the panels, perhaps the orange one, thread these through down the strip rather than at the end. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see how this goes, whether it will work out. So that's my plan at this stage. So instead of doing all this on camera, I will tear out all the strips, and then I will sew around the edges like I said I was going to do, around the torn edges, and then I'll come back and show you where I'm up to. I don't want to do it all on camera because I don't want to bore you, because it's going to take a little while to do that. So I'll see you very soon. As you can see from here, if you've been watching, you'll notice there's a little bit of a change that I've made. I decided I didn't want to have this all the way over because I didn't know how to get this to keep continuing over the page, because you've got the the middle of the spine there. So this is what I've come up with, and I onto the page as a side pocket, and I left that out of the background plain so I can still do some journaling. And you'll see here I pretty much kept to what I said I was going to do, and I sewed on these little charms. I thought it was the easiest way. They'll lie flat that way. And instead, the other change that I'm making is, instead of having these little charms down the bottom here, I thought it'd be nice. I thought it was a cute idea to have that down so that the weight kept them closed, but they don't really need it. And instead of doing it that way, I've decided I'm going to do it another way. I'm going to wait and put this across the top here, glue that on across all the panels, and this as well, the music ribbon across there, and then I will sew them onto here. So I'll have them dangling down from the top instead of the bottom. I hope that will be work out well. So time will tell when I do it. So I'll go ahead and do all that, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks. Here you can see I've got two attached. I thought I would come back, and in case you haven't done this before, I thought I'd come back and show you the process of sewing some charms onto a piece of ribbon. If you don't do a lot of hand sewing or don't do any at all, it's just a matter of, I've tried to center them out so they're evenly spaced, and I put a little dot here to mark where I want to put a hole through. So I just punch it through, so I'll know where I'm going at the back here, because you want to thread from the back the needle through. I just put a single knot in the end of my cotton, and I'm using embroidery thread. From here you're coming through the front, and then I've put a little split pin on here, so I just thread it through the front of there, and then the front of your charm if you want your charm to face a particular way. And this one is double-sided, so it doesn't really matter, but just in case you've got one like for the butterfly, for instance, you want that to be facing frontwards, so you put your needle through the front of the ring like so, and then make sure you get it the right way, and then come around through to the back, and then pull the thread through as much as where you want this to dangle down, like so. And then I just do a knot, a couple of stitches in the back, and then I knot it through. These will be, the cotton will stay in place because you're going to glue this onto a page, so just do one stitch, and the next one I get the circle there, and then I thread it through the opposite way and pull that tight, and then I can cut that off. And there we go, we've got our three little charms there all ready to, I went ahead, I used double thread on these ones, and I linked it to the knots at the back so that it creates a loop so that the charms don't pull the knot through the hole that you made. So they're anchored down, and then this will go on the top. I'll glue this to the top here, and then when the flaps go up, they'll go up to just the edge of the ribbon. And so I'll glue this onto here first, and then I'll glue that top section onto the page. So I'll go and do that, and I'll come back and show you. There's our page, and the trims attached at the top. It's all glued in, and so now it's a case of just folding. Because I had these charms dangling, it should be plenty of room to move them, and I just bend these back so that it makes it easier to flip up these flaps, flip flaps, and this one's a little bit thicker, but you get the idea, and you've got plenty of room there to journal, and on this page as well. And so that's just a bit of fun to do. And then the last little thing is I just glue this down, which I didn't do before. If you have problems when your journal's getting a little bit bulky and you're trying to glue things down, you've got bulk behind, I find that putting something hard, like a what do you call it, cutting mat or something like that behind, helps you to get those edges pressed down. And I got some tissue all over my glue. There we go. So now that's glued down. There's only one little thing I have left to do, and then that will be, the layout will be finished. And if you saw my last video, I think it was, I showed you how to make some collage art for your journals, and this is what we made. If you didn't see that video, I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can go and check that out. And I'm going to use these elements, a couple of these elements on here, and what I've chosen is this flower here and a couple of little mushrooms down the bottom. I think they'll work well with the colors on this page, on this paper. So I'll put those aside, and we'll glue these on, and that will be the end. And now it's totally finished. I'm not adding another thing. There you go, you can see the flowers. I think they worked out very well there. And those, so you can let me know if you like this layout or not. Everyone has their own personal preference, so just leave a comment. Let me know in the comment section below if you like the layout and it's something that you like to try. And if you haven't seen the video on how to make these elements, go and watch that. That was a heap of fun to do that. And there we go. That's it for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to bring you lots more. I hope everyone has a happy crafty day, and go and play with your papers and have some fun. And I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.